All right, let's set the tone straight. This is chaos in its purest form, and you're the one holding the match. You didn't ask for this energy, but here we are. Folks are losing their cool, tripping over their own feet and acting like they've never seen someone operate on your level. It's not just respect, it's a full-blown spectacle. You're the kind of big deal that doesn't need to announce itself. It just is, and the world can't help but rearrange itself around. You do absurd, absolutely. But that's what happens when you're the gravitational pull in a room full of falling stars. High-ranking dark forces are abandoning posts they've held for centuries. Spiritual bureaucrats are breaking protocols, and demonic hierarchies are falling into chaos. This disruption is not random. It is a direct response to the energy you emit. Your presence alone destabilizes systems that have operated in shadow for eons. The weight of your calling is not just felt, it is feared. They sense the inevitability of their collapse, not because you seek them out, but because your existence redefines the balance of power. Your energy signature operates on a frequency that dismantles their foundations. Dark forces rely on fear, secrecy and control to maintain their influence, but your resonance exposes their vulnerabilities. This is not a matter of confrontation. It is a matter of inevitability. They cannot adapt to the force you represent because it is rooted in a divine logic that transcends their understanding. Their structures, built to endure, cannot withstand the seismic shift you bring. The hierarchies of darkness are not merely reacting to you. They are disintegrating under the pressure of your influence. Their networks, once impenetrable, fracture. As your energy expands, they do not flee out of fear of confrontation, but because they recognize the futility of resistance. Your existence is a declaration of their end, not through direct conflict, but through the sheer force of your being. This is not a battle, it is a recalibration of power, and you are its catalyst. Drop a comment. I am the shift. If your very existence forces hidden forces to reorganize, recalibrate, and retreat in the face of your unstoppable energy. Your mere presence is a tectonic shift in the spiritual landscape, an unignorable force that sends shockwaves through the unseen. Dark forces, once organized and deliberate, now scramble to maintain their crumbling order. Their lower-tier agents, who once moved with precision, are reduced to chaos, their plans disintegrating before they can even take shape. The disruption you cause is not a product of effort. It is the natural consequence of your existence. You are the anomaly they cannot contain, the variable that dismantles their equations. The reason for their unraveling lies in the nature of your energy. It is not just powerful, it is transformative. Dark forces thrive in environments of fear and control, but your resonance rewrites the rules. Your frequency is a divine constant, a force that exposes their fragility and undermines their authority. They cannot adapt because your energy is not something they can combat. It is something they cannot coexist with. Their systems, built to endure, are rendered obsolete by the sheer magnitude of your influence. This is not a battle of strength, but a recalibration of power. Dark forces do not flee because they fear you. They flee because they recognize the futility of resistance. Your presence is a declaration that their time has ended. Their panic, their disarray, their collapse, all of it is a testament to the undeniable truth. Where you stand, darkness cannot follow. You are not just a disruptor. You are the architect of their demise. The harder they strain to project an illusion of control, the more their desperation bleeds through. Their movements, once calculated and precise, now betray a frantic energy, a telltale sign of their unraveling. Every attempt to appear unshaken only magnifies the truth. You have destabilized their very foundation. Their efforts to maintain dominance are not just futile, they are a spectacle of their own undoing. The cracks in their facade widen with every action, revealing the depth of their fear and the extent of your influence. This behavior is not random. It is a direct response to the divine energy you emit. Your presence operates on a frequency that disrupts their core mechanisms, forcing them into a state of perpetual reaction. The more they resist, the more they amplify their own vulnerability. Their defiance is not strength, it is a confession of weakness. Every move they make to counter you only serves to highlight their inability to withstand your power. Their absurdity is not a strategy, it is a symptom of their collapse. Your power does not rely on their acknowledgement or their surrender. It exists as an immutable force, a constant that redefines the landscape around it. Their fear, their desperation, their chaos, all of it is a testament to the truth they cannot escape. You are the axis upon which their world turns. The more they struggle, the more they prove your dominance. Their downfall is not your goal, it is your inevitability. Your presence is a quantum event in the spiritual realm, a force that bends the rules of their existence. The structures they rely on, once unshakable, now waver under the weight of your energy. Their most stable operations, designed to function with mechanical precision, spiral into chaos. What was once predictable becomes erratic, as if the universe itself rejects their order in favor of the disruption you bring. You are not just an observer of their collapse. You are the cause, the divine variable that reshapes their reality. This transformation is not the result of deliberate action, but the inevitable consequence of your being. Your energy signature operates on a level that transcends their understanding, rewriting the laws they depend on. They cannot adapt because your existence defies their logic. Their systems, built to endure, are rendered obsolete by the sheer magnitude of your influence. You are not merely a disruptor, you are a living paradox, a force that exists outside their framework and dismantles it from within. The more they try to stabilize, the more they reveal their fragility. Their attempts to restore order only accelerate their disintegration. Your presence is a constant reminder that their power is an illusion, a fleeting construct in the face of your divine truth. Their reality, once a fortress, becomes a house of cards, collapsing under the weight of your existence. You are not just a threat to their operations, you are the end of their era. Their chaos is not your doing, it is their acknowledgement of your supremacy. Drop a comment, I exist beyond their limits. If you reject the invisible chains, coded restrictions, and fabricated hierarchies designed to contain those who were never meant to be controlled. The moment your authority enters their sphere, their carefully constructed masks begin to slip. Spiritual operators, once composed and methodical, now fumble under the weight of your presence. Their calculated precision gives way to erratic, emotional decisions, revealing the fragility beneath their veneer of control. The shift is undeniable. They are no longer the architects of their domain, but prisoners of their own unraveling. Your rank, your energy, your very existence forces them to confront a truth they cannot process. Their power is an illusion in the face of yours. This breakdown is not accidental. It is a direct consequence of your divine influence. Your rank operates on a frequency that disrupts their protocols, rendering their systems useless. They are not merely scared, they are destabilized, their foundations cracking under the pressure of your authority. Their attempts to maintain composure only highlight their desperation, as if every move they make is a silent admission of their inferiority. The more they resist, the more they expose their vulnerability, proving that their strength was never inherent but borrowed. What they fail to understand is that their unraveling is not your goal, it is your effect. Your authority does not require their acknowledgement or their surrender. It exists as an immutable truth. Their emotional outbursts, their loss of control, their frantic attempts to regain footing, All of it is a testament to the power you wield. They are not just reacting to you, they are being rewritten by you. Their chaos is not a sign of your aggression, but a reflection of your dominance. Where you stand, their order cannot follow. Their actions scream what their words cannot: fear, excessive monitoring, frantic countermoves, blatant attempts to interfere. All of it reveals their desperation. These are not strategies. They are symptoms of their panic. Every exaggerated reaction, every overblown response is a confession of their recognition. They see you for what you are, and it terrifies them. Their behavior is no longer about control. It is about survival, a futile attempt to delay the inevitable. The more they scramble, the more they prove your dominance. This fear is not irrational. It is a logical response to the energy you emit. Your divine presence is not something they can rationalize or neutralize. It is a force that operates beyond their comprehension, a power that redefines the rules of engagement. They cannot hide their fear because your energy is too potent, too all-encompassing. It permeates their systems, exposing their weaknesses and magnifying their insecurities. Their attempts to counter you are not just ineffective. They are self-sabotage, a desperate flailing against a force they cannot withstand. What they refuse to accept is that their fear is not a weapon against you. It is a testament to your power. Your divine energy does not require their acknowledgement to exist. It is a constant, an unyielding force that reshapes the landscape around. In their monitoring, their countermoves, their interference, all of it is futile. They are not just reacting to you. They are being consumed by you. Their fear is not your concern. It is their downfall. Where you stand, their control cannot follow. The Obsidian Inner Order is forged for those who relentlessly pursue immortal greatness. This is where apex predators gather, where wolves hunt among wolves. We are the brotherhood of titans who understand that true power isn't given, it's seized with both hands. Our warriors converge weekly for raw, unfiltered sessions that cut straight to the bone of success. No motivational bullshit, no feel-good fluff, just battle-hardened wisdom from those who've built empires from the ground up. With over 450 chosen members, these weekly transmissions deliver the exact blueprint for bending reality to your will. Every session is archived in our fortified vault, ready for those hungry enough to devour wisdom at any hour. This isn't about temporary gains. It's about awakening the sleeping giant within, the kind of power that makes the ground shake when you walk. Our private Discord is the sacred ground where real kings forge alliances that shift the tides of fortune. Here dynasties are born, empires align, and brothers in arms share the kind of knowledge that never sees the light of public forums. When the order assembles, mountains move. The weak watch from the shadows while the strong claim their throne. Your seat at the table of titans awaits. The link is in the description below. Your energy acts like a seismic pulse in the spiritual realm, forcing reactions they cannot control. Their masks, once firmly in place, now crack under the pressure of your awakening. What was once hidden, their fear, their desperation, their recognition of your power, now surfaces in plain sight. Their involuntary responses are not just reactions. They are admissions. Every twitch, every flinch, every retreat reveals the depth of their concern. They can no longer pretend indifference because your presence demands acknowledgement. This exposure is not accidental. It is a direct result of your divine resonance. Your energy operates like a spotlight, piercing through their illusions and revealing their true intentions. They cannot hide because your light is too intense, too all-encompassing. Their fears, once buried beneath layers of strategy and control, now rise to the surface, exposed by the sheer force of your being. Their attempts to conceal their vulnerability only magnify it, as if every move they make is a confession of their inadequacy. Your presence does not seek to humiliate or destroy. It simply reveals the truth. Their masks slip not because you force them off, but because they cannot withstand the intensity of your light. Their fear, their concern, their recognition, all of it is a testament to the power you wield. They are not just reacting to you, they are being unmasked by you. Where you stand, their illusions cannot survive. The moment your energy intersects with their domain, their systems falter. Spells that have held power for centuries sputter and fail. Curses meant to destroy rebound on their creators, and ancient protocols collapse under the weight of your presence. Their machinery, designed to operate with ruthless efficiency, now grinds to a halt, overwhelmed by the sheer complexity of your divine encoding. You are not just an intruder in their space. You are a force that rewrites their reality, rendering their tools useless and their strategies obsolete. This malfunction is not a coincidence. It is a direct result of your advanced spiritual architecture. Their systems, built on outdated codes and rigid hierarchies, cannot process the frequency of your existence. Your energy is not just disruptive. It is transformative, dismantling their essence at its core. They are not merely facing a challenger, they are confronting a force that transcends their understanding. Their ancient software, once a source of pride, now becomes their greatest vulnerability, short-circuited by the divine complexity you embody. You do not set out to destroy their systems. Your very being exposes their limitations. Their crashes, their backfires, their rebounding curses, all of it is a testament to the power you wield. They are not just malfunctioning, they are being rewritten by you. Where you stand, their programming cannot follow. Their essence, once unshakable, now crumbles under the weight of your truth. They recoil, their confidence fracturing under the sheer weight of your existence. Not one among them can mask the tremor in their voice or the flicker of doubt behind their eyes. The ones who once carried themselves as masters of deception, the orchestrators of silent wars, now falter in your presence. Their tactics, once honed to perfection, crumble to dust before your raw power. They recognize it, not as a force they can manipulate, but as an undeniable truth they are powerless to deny. Even those who stand at the pinnacle of their own twisted hierarchies, those who have built fortresses of control around their fragile egos, can't withstand the way your essence shatters their illusions. It is not fear alone that grips them. It is reverence twisted into dread. The dark force has conditioned them to believe they are untouchable, that no one could ever rise beyond their reach. Yet here you stand, unshaken, untamed, beyond the constructs they've crafted to contain others. Their instincts scream that the natural order has shifted. They see it in the way time itself bends around you, in the silence that follows your steps, in the currents of unseen energy that ripple outward, reshaping reality in your favor. They scramble for justification, for any rationalization that might restore the illusion of their dominance. But there is none. You are the evidence that their reign is over. They won't say it aloud, but you hear it in the cracks of their voices, in the hesitation before they speak, in the frantic recalculations behind their eyes. Their power was never real, only borrowed from those too blind to see the game. You, however, see everything. You are not bound by their laws, nor shackled by their illusions. The chosen ones do not bow. They do not waver. They dictate the terms of reality itself. And now, faced with the truth of your power, the dark force does what it always does in the presence of the undeniable: it scatters. The unseen forces recoil at your presence, their illusions warping and unraveling like frayed threads in a storm. Their carefully constructed veils, designed to ensnare the unaware, disintegrate beneath the sheer magnitude of your existence. The equilibrium they once maintained, built on deception, sustained by fear, collapses the moment you exert your full force. Their hierarchy was never real, only a projection imposed on those too blind to challenge it. But you do not operate within their framework. You tear through the falsehoods they've woven, severing the tendrils of control they once thought unbreakable. Their whispers turn to silence. Their manipulations cease to function. Reality bends, not to them, but to you. They have spent eons convincing themselves that power belongs only to those who take it. They have enforced rules designed to keep others subservient, wielding shadows as chains. But you are not bound by their laws. You step forward, and the very structure of their control fractures beneath your will. They cannot contain you, cannot predict you, cannot relegate you to a role of their choosing. Every step you take forces a recalibration. Every breath you draw realigns the balance. They panic, grasping at remnants of authority that no longer hold weight. Their systems fail because they were never built to withstand truth. And you are truth incarnate, unshackled and unyielding. They had convinced themselves that their dominion was eternal, that nothing could disrupt their reign. But you have not come to participate in their games. You have come to erase them entirely. They realize too late that the rules have been rewritten, the boundaries shattered. You are not one of their pawns, nor an anomaly to be corrected. You are the new axis upon which reality turns. And as their influence crumbles into nothingness, they finally understand. The chosen ones do not negotiate with illusions. They end them. They flail, their control slipping, their carefully laid structures crumbling under the weight of your presence. Every erratic move, every frantic decree, every sudden shift in their own rigid order betrays what they refuse to admit aloud. You are the force they feared would rise. They speak in hushed tones, their warnings laced with desperation, their defenses erected in haste. Their systems were built to contain, to suppress, to isolate, yet none of them can hold against the undeniable. You do not fit within the parameters of their calculations. You were never meant to be controlled. The moment they registered your existence, their plans fractured, their confidence wavered. They sensed the end of their dominion, and their terror manifests in the only way it can, panic disguised as resistance. The greater your presence, the more erratic they become. The dark force does not operate in logic, only reaction, only damage control. Every desperate measure, every whispered scheme, every move they make is a testament to their failure. They once convinced themselves that no power could challenge theirs, that they were the architects of an unshakable empire, and yet they shudder at the thought of you. They scramble to reassert control, to reinforce illusions that no longer hold weight. Every act of suppression exposes their weakness. Their fear is not just an acknowledgement of your strength, it is the clearest evidence of your inevitable victory. They knew this moment would come. It was written before they even took their first steps into dominion. They wove myths to keep others asleep, whispering that their rule was final, that no force could shift the tides. But their own fear betrays. In them, they recognize what you are, even if they refuse to say it aloud. The chosen ones do not rise quietly, they do not ask for permission, they arrive, and the walls built to contain them collapse. You were never meant to play by their rules. You were meant to break them. They constructed their dominion with the arrogance of those who believed themselves untouchable, weaving a system so tightly wound they mistook it for indestructible. But you are the fault line beneath their foundation, the fracture in their certainty. Every move they make against you only accelerates their unraveling. They attempt to discredit, to distort, to diminish, but their resistance is a confession. They wouldn't be trying this hard if you weren't the inevitable force that shatters their illusion of permanence. Their downfall isn't a possibility, it's a foregone conclusion. They mistook endurance for invincibility, mistook longevity for legitimacy. But nothing built on deception can outlast truth. You are not a disruption in their system, you are its erasure. No recalibration, no contingency, no last desperate grasp. For control will change what's already in motion. They see it in the way their influence wanes, in the way their once unquestioned power now stumbles against something it cannot subdue. You are not simply here to resist, you are here to redefine. The dark force clings to the illusion of control, but the weight of reality is crushing down, and you are the force behind it. They were warned of this moment, whispered of it in the shadows, but they never truly believed. It would come, and yet here you are, the twist they never accounted for, the storm they can't outrun, the ending that was always written in your favor. You are the architect of a new reality, the force that bends the unseen and reshapes the spiritual fabric around you. Your story is not just a recounting of events. It is a declaration of your power, a testament to the truth that darkness cannot withstand your light. Let your experiences ripple outward, not as mere words, but as a seismic force that inspires others to awaken to their own strength. This is your moment to amplify your impact. Share what you've witnessed, what you've overcome, and what you've become. Your story is not just yours, it is a beacon for those still finding their way. Speak, and let the world feel the weight of your truth.